Hey guys, this is the start of something new, hopefully. A place to document my business learnings and maybe the journey as well. Um, it's a really weird time to be actually recording this because I'm on the eve of losing my first client without ever having made any money. Um, and so the title is not really well titled. If I'm telling you how I'm going to achieve otherworldly success in record time, this is kind of against it, but I really believe in the principles I'm about to lay out. So hey ho, here it is. The title is How to Achieve Record Success. Fuck, I'm so fucking tired. How to Achieve Otherworldly Success in Record Breaking Time. Um, that is, if you want to reach otherworldly success and if you want to do it in record breaking time, here's how I hypothesize it can be done. So I think it's four things, and these things kind of blend into each other, but they're four things that I've thought about for a really fucking long time, and in my opinion, these are the things that if you master, you will master material success at least. So first and foremost, I think there has to be this dismantling of the belief that you need to be super fucking disciplined and you need to have your routine dialed in to make it happen. I don't think that's right. I think it's a paradigm shift where you gotta just have a healthy amount of obsession. And it's kind of paradoxical because obsession's hardly healthy, but I think a healthy obsession will be any amount of discipline, it will be any routine, it will be any system, because what happens is the work mode becomes a default, and therefore, anytime you're sitting around, you're thinking about work. Anytime you're doing work, and that's it. Um, Anything else you do is gaps in between your work. Now, I know Newport absolutists will be like, nah, we need to only do deep work and that's it. But I don't think so. I think um, you can do a couple hours of deep work, and you should really prioritize those if those are real thinking intensive things, if those are strategizing, if those are planning things out or creating some kind of output in terms of building a system or building out sales funnels, things like that, right? But there's other work, there's menial work which will advance you so much as well. It's not only deep work where you get a benefit. You will get a benefit from taking a fuck ton of sales calls. You will get a benefit from reiterating ads a fuck ton, right? At least in the place that I'm speaking from. But whatever that field is, there is mundane, menial maintenance work where you will get some benefit after a number of repetitions. And so that's the point number one. A healthy dose of obsession will be any amount of discipline. I think for this obsession to take place, it's fucking hard in today's society. We're constantly distracted by everything else, and so you really need to create that gap in your life where there is nothing else. No social media, no noise, no music, no nothing, no girlfriend. And what happens is there'll be a gap, and that gap will be filled by your brain latching onto things. So normally when it would latch onto social media or YouTube, now it will latch onto business, and that's what we really want. And because you're just constantly thinking of it all the time, you'll be able to think in ways that other people can't. You'll create ideas that other people can't. You'll fill in that space, that gap in your life. When you reach obstacles where people will stop and have fear take over and be their primary motivator, I'm scared of taking this sales call and therefore they won't. When these obstacles come up, you'll smash through these obstacles. You'll find a way because you are obsessed. Right, so that's point number one. Point number two, I think, is speed. I think if you want to do it in record time, you need speed, and I think the best way to explain it is iterations. I think I picked this up from design class. You gotta iterate. So what that means is you try something out, you look at the results, you change one part of it, you try it out again, look at the results, see if it's getting better or worse, and keep changing one part until it gets really better, a lot better. And the quicker you go through this process, the more attempts you will fundamentally have, right? So take my business running ads, right? Because we're able to get ads up and running in 2 days, and then we should test ads for a week at a time, right? That means in the month we have 4 testings of ads, right? Whereas other companies will take 2 weeks to get ads up, and then they'll test ads haphazardly. They might only have 1 or 2 testings. That means we have 4 attempts to get it right, whereas other companies only have 1 or 2. Over the course of a year, this is like, it would be 36 more attempts to get it right. So it's incredibly powerful. We need to iterate really quickly. If something's working, double down on it. If it's not, get rid of it really fucking quick, right? That's number 2. You have to iterate quicker than everyone else if you want this in your youth. You can have this much later on, but if you want it in your youth, iterate much quicker. It should scare you how quickly you change things, right? Obviously after waiting for results, but iterate so quick that everyone else gets left in the dust. Iterate so quick that you have the chance to try many things. Right, so that's number 2, speed. Number 3 is autodidacticism. It's the art of self-learning, essentially. You need to keep learning. You are starting this business or endeavor and you have a skills deficit. You don't know anything about the field you're in, and that means you have to be humble enough to keep fucking learning and have enough humility to know that when you've learned a bit, it's not everything, right? Ideally, it should scare you how much you don't know. And so this in combination with the obsession, it will happen naturally. You will find business practices or the way, as Rahul would say, in everything, right? You need to keep learning. Read the principles, read the new stuff, read the technical stuff, read the academic stuff, read everything, and then apply what works and discern, fucking get rid of everything that doesn't, right? And then the final point is kind of related to all of them, which is that if you're trying to do this, you're going to be taking on a lot of information very quickly, and so you can't be distracted. And I don't mean in terms of you can't pursue other things. That is true to some extent, but I mean the tangible distraction. So are you giving your brain enough space to breathe? Are you allowing yourself to become bored? Are you allowing yourself to free up those mental faculties to work on problems unconsciously that you need to solve, right? Everyone's told you this, right? That when you sleep, a lot of the neural connections that you've made during the day, things like memory, they get refreshed or they get strengthened. And it's so true, but it doesn't only happen in your sleep. It also happens when you're awake. And if you're bored and you're staring at a wall, or if you're in the shower and something comes to you, it's not a mere mistake. It's because you've allowed yourself to free up those mental faculties to beat that problem you were facing that you couldn't solve consciously, right? And so, yeah, practically speaking, this means taking a lot of long walks, spending a lot of time without any distractions, without the preoccupation of the brain. And if you do that, everything else will also fall into place, because inherently you'll start thinking about the practice that you're doing, right? That is the healthy obsession. You will think about the iterations. You'll think about what we need to do next, what's working, what's not working, because you're reflecting. You have time to reflect. And then finally, in terms of your learning, the learning becomes so much more efficient because all of a sudden, the things that you read, they sink in to a deeper level instead of just reading it, getting to the bottom of the page and forgetting. So yeah, I think this is obviously a hypothesis. I haven't done it yet. I'm nowhere close. I haven't even fucking started, basically. But I think if you want to achieve otherworldly success in record time, this is how you do it. So a recap would be obsession over discipline, speed of iterations, autodidacticism, and say unconscious channels of learning, right? Yeah, you're welcome. Keep watching the space to see if it works. That's it. Yo.